welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here today with another episode on Carnage. Now this is covering the color blue, and this is only part one. Now I have a funny story to tell you and, show you what I've done and what all happened. But first let's do a shout out, okay? Because it's kind of important that we give people shout outs. Future Cat from New Zealand has been a friend of mine for a while, and their channel is just clicking along, and they do all sorts of fun stuff with quilting and traveling around New Zealand, and it's wonderful and very nice person indeed. Now the show notes are going to have their YouTube channel, so it's important that you go get into those show notes, right? And also too, I speak for free, so just in case you're looking for a speaker for your quilt guild or quilting group, I talk about elements of design, I talk about using your fabric scraps, and I talk about making charity quilts. So if that's one of those boxes, I'd be happy to accommodate your quilting group, because that's my way of giving back to the quilting community, is to go out there and talk for free. Also, the Chaos So Long is coming. No, we have not set a date yet because we haven't filmed anything yet. And once we have and it starts to drop, then we definitely will be putting it in the show notes as to when, what is coming when. So that's kind of important to keep, because that's going to be a good scrap buster. 16 blocks, and they're larger sizes. The subunits are 4.5 inches unfinished, or 4.5 by 8.5 unfinished. So that kind of gives you an idea of the scale. So get those scraps out of there, and you either can play in a palette, a chosen palette, or warm tones or cool tones, whatever you want. You're going to need lots of colors, mediums and darks, and you're going to need low volumes, right? So your low volumes and your lights can really, like pale colors, can go together too. So that's a really good way of getting rid of those out of your scrap stash. Also, we have a Facebook group. It's warm and welcoming. We're having so much fun. So you're part of the Facebook community. Please go over there, enjoy. There's so many members in there just having a great time. We do the normal things of Facebook pictures and asking questions and all that, but we also have a virtual sewing room in Discord. So that's been a lot of fun in there. I do try and get in there now at least once a week. And life here sometimes is really busy, so it's it is what it is, and we try our best, let's put it that way. And they have all sorts of different kind of community chats. They do fabric swaps by country, they do Saturday snippets. We just talk about little quilting things on that chat, and then we talk on Thankful Thursdays and what you're working on, and we talk about all sorts of fun stuff. And it is a lot of the people are actually getting to know each other, and they're becoming friends. So that's kind of important too. We also have Zoom sew dates in those show notes, right? So we're filming this November 1, so it's going to be from November and December, and I haven't looked at 2025, but when I do, those dates are going to be in there too. If you want to come join us for a fun sew day where I pick something and I try to do easier stuff so I can talk with everybody and find out what you're working on and what's inspiring you. I mean, please come. And if you don't feel like sewing that day and you want to bring your cross stitch, bring it. It's fine. It's a great place to come hang out. So share, like, and subscribe, both mine and Future Cat's YouTube channels. If you're liking what you're seeing, please pass them on to your quilting groups and quilting friends. We'd love to continue bringing you more free content. So let's talk about Blue Crumb Carnage. The Crumb Carnage Blue Part 1. Now these are the bins that I'm talking about storing my crumbs in, right? So they're like hand size, right? So I, try and get through them when I can, but the blue bin was like this tall. I mean, it was ridiculous. I couldn't even stuff stuff anymore in along the sides to push it down in so it wouldn't pop out. So I figured, okay, we have to start doing stuff, right, with this bin. And there are a few bins up there like that one, but not quite as tall as that. So I pulled my blue strings out and I figured, okay, we're going to start making blocks, and we're going to make them 9.5 because I have a 9.5 inch Omni Grid ruler, and it's just easier to make those blocks that size, and you don't have to think about, where the lines are or anything. You just cut around the square. So what I did with this pile high this. Now I should have showed it, taken a picture of it first, but honest to gosh, it was this high. I harvested out all the 2 and 3.5 inch rectangles I could, because that's my favorite potato chip size. So I got rid of, you know, I had a couple of stacks this high of potato chip blocks that are just in blue that I was able to manage to get out. But because my stuff is from cut-offs, right, a lot of my little crummy bits are, you know, 2 inches or 2.5 inches, 3.5 inches, you know, this kind of thing. So I still have all of this left. Oops. This kind of stuff left, you know, and this is from 4.5 inch cut-offs, or this is the one I tried with the tape. Like, I have old computer paper with the little perforated edges that would feed along. I have boxes of that, so that's what I was using. And I was just cutting strip lengths out, like, you know, 4.5, 3.5, 2.5, 2, you know, that kind of thing. I just cut strips out of them the long way, and I was sewing them on. Do I like that idea? No, I don't. I don't like that idea. But you still have to take the paper off, right? Like, you're still stitching at a really tight stitch length and all this stuff. It does keep, I'm pretty good at you know, keeping them square, and you have to trim them anyways. So, you know, make them, you know, trim on both sides kind of thing, right? To line them all up. But would I do it again? Probably, because I have lots of perforated paper. But that's my problem, not yours. So this is what I have left. Now, I also have, you can see too, you can actually see the bottom. I only have a few crumbs in here now. Like, I just have less than a handful of crumbs left. And I've given up, because I'll show you in a minute what happened. So, this is 35 blocks, 9.5 inches. I am going to put a 2-inch sashing in between, a piece sashing, and cornerstones right out of these blocks. So I figure, okay, this pack has 35 blocks, right? So it's like a 5x7 layout plus the sashing. It's going to give me a really nice sized twin size quilt, right? So I figured, okay, 35, there's one quilt, and I'll just, you know, finish up the rest. I'll finish up the rest of these blocks. I worked on it forever. I had one friend, have you finally finished your blue crumb blocks? And I would go, no, I'm going to be doing this forever, because that's what it felt like. So this is how many I made. I figure I have about 4 quilts, maybe 5, I'm not sure yet. And I put my blue strings back in my string bin, because I kind of gave up, because it's like, oh my goodness. Now, some of the blocks, they start, you know, like some of them are pretty wonky, right? So, you know, they're wonky in the center. I do try to add light colors in, light blues, like paler blues in, so, you know, the blocks don't get too dark. You know, they're not getting too crazy, they're not getting too, you know, and plus, you know, I have little pieces of blue triangles. I was sewing all those together. I sewed all the strips of similar size together. And yeah, there's a lot of blocks here, right? So I'm like, okay, this could take me a while. All these Crumb Carnage series, now there's a Crumb Carnage playlist, but I'm also going to include these into the String and Crumb playlist as well. They are, because there's so much going on, right? And it takes a long time to get to this stage before I can make quilts. I will come back and show you the quilts that I made out of all of these, like all of these. And I still have to figure out what I'm going to make with this. So this one might have a part 3 to it, but I am definitely going to remove as many of the blue crumbs as I can. So I think that's you know, it's going to take a lot longer than I can. Like, you're not going to see part 2 next week. That's not going to happen, right? But I thought, now this is a pretty good challenge for me too. Now, when it came to doing the sashing, the piece sashing and the cornerstones, I went through my yellow crumbs, because I like blue and yellow together, and I thought, no, that would make a nice, you know, make little, you know, something with blue and yellow, because then it would, you know, it would add a nice pop of color, other color. And some of the blocks did get rather dark, so I was kind of, okay, we'll lighten this up a bit by just putting in yellows, like yellow and then yellow to bright yellows to golds, you know, kind of that all over. You'll see it when it's done. I went through all my yellow crumbs, and I harvested out as many pieces that I could use for the sashing as I could, and I didn't even make a dent. I didn't make a dent in the yellow bit. I'm like, oh my gosh. So then after that, I went through all my 2.5 inch squares and pulled out all the yellow ones there. And, you know, like I went through, and I'm hoping I have enough, but I'm not sure yet because I have to sew these yet. So this will be happening, and you will see it like on the next one. And if you're not sure what I'm doing, go back and go to the Crumb Carnage playlist, and you'll see how I worked, like did green, now I'm doing blue. I have no idea which color I'm doing next, but it's going to be a lot of fun, but it will take longer, so please be patient with me. Anyways, I hope life is treating you beautifully and you're having an absolutely wonderful week ahead and everything's going great. So you take care and stay well until we meet each other again. Okay? All right, bye! Hello again. We just want to thank you for enjoying our video and, you know, coming along with my husband and my YouTube adventure and quilting. And, you know, sometimes things don't work out as best they should, and sometimes they work out great. We're going, wow, that went well. But it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so glad I could share it with you. Share, like, and subscribe these videos. That really helps us out, and it helps us make more charity quilts, okay? So you guys take care until we have a chance to meet again, okay? Bye!